Welcome back to the Rural Vegetarian. If you're just tuning in before the break, we cut up 12 pounds of Nappa cabbage and washed it and rinsed it. And we weighed out 1 cup of kosher salt. And now we're going to salt the Nappa cabbage. So I'm going to divide all this Nappa cabbage because I have the kosher salt in 2 half-cup glass bowls, just so it's easier for me to gauge how far along with the salting I should be. And that moose in the first segment, he's moved along since. I don't think he'll be nibbling on any of our cabbage. So that's good. I picked up this really nice Nappa cabbage. It's grown in Canada. And for the springtime, it's quite firm. There's still some water in here. Let's get that out. So what I find nice is to put the core end down in the bowl. We'll get our bowl of salt here. Maybe I'll just leave it there. And what you want to do is get in between the leaves, starting on the inner side here. Right, I'm going to do this. And throw the salt in. Can you figure this out? Okay, here we go. You want to open it up. So massage it in there. I've been making kimchi regularly for about 10 years now. And I really should have made another batch maybe a month ago, because I went down to the slop in my jar, my last jar. And buying it from the store just isn't the same. So I think that's good for the first one. In the end, if we have more, we'll just mix that out. Always by the end, I have a little more salt left, and I salt it around. Last fall, I was making my regular batch, 12 pounds of cabbage, daikon and such, garlic. And when I went to buy the cabbage, I got my 12 pounds, but it didn't look very nice. It's kind of weak looking cabbage. But where I live, being a rural vegetarian, I gotta take what I can get. But then I went to another grocery store, and they had very beautiful looking Nappa cabbage. In my location, sometime to get the ingredients for kimchi, I gotta go to 3, maybe 4 different grocery stores. And so when I saw this really good looking cabbage, big and tight and green, fresh, I thought, well, I gotta get 12 more pounds of this. Wait. Yeah, 12. So I made kimchi with 24 pounds of cabbage. And that last lasted me. Plus I still had some from my previous batch, but that lasted me till now. And oh, is it sour and tasty and spicy. I like the spice. So, like I said, more towards the core, you want a little more salt. It was raining earlier, but it seems to have stopped. And the birds have come back with force, waking you up in the morning. They really just don't shut up, but it's nice. Left on. So salting the cabbage is a very important part of making any delicious kimchi. It draws out the moisture of the cabbage. Then we're going to rinse this off later, so it's not going to have all this salt in it. But it sucks out the moisture. And then we're going to have beautiful kimchi sauce, porridge type such, that will get sucked back into the leaves. And then it'll ferment. It'll be fabulous. This is probably the worst looking one, and it still looks good. It's just this little, it's got a little browning. That's all good. Give me bruises on my apples, as that singer said. I love Janis Joplin. No. Done. I saw a grizzly up the road the other day. They're waking up, people. Digging around the ditch for grubs. I don't know, roots. Looks like the sun's coming out. It's about half, and we've almost used all the salt, so it looks like we've been using about maybe the correct amount. But you know, it's all fun. science and rural. Now that the snow is finally almost gone, I'm getting ready to walk around barefoot, touch the earth, and do some earthing. The lake's still frozen though, but I'll be walking on the beach once the snow's gone, most of it at least, and the lake's still frozen. Don't you worry about that. That piece there this piece here kinda bugs me. I apparently don't like those bruises on my apples. You know, you're gonna lose some in the salting process, I guess. So that's about those ones. Next, let's transfer. I'll put these ones upside down like this, so that I know they're the ones that I'm moving over, because I'll be transferring the ones I've already salted into my vessel over behind me here, which I'll start doing now. And after these have been salting for 2 hours, every half an hour I'll flip it, give it a little massage, a little slap-a-doo-doo. They will reduce in size, and they'll all fit into this large bowl. Okay, wait. Did one escape me here? Did I salt this one already? Yes. Yes, I did. Salted it all out. Okay. The chipmunks are running around. Well, this is how much salt I got left. Maybe I should toss some on those that I just did. Yes, it's very scientific here on the rural vegetarian. Alright. Next. Cabbage leaf. Swixing. And when you're making kimchi, you should try to be in a good mood. Don't make kimchi if you're having a really bad week, maybe if you're angry. If you're angry, you should not make kimchi. And you should look into that, because life is beautiful. And so is kimchi. Oh, it's so beautiful. When it's sitting in those jars, or your ongi, and your kitchen counter, when I'm off at work, I'm thinking about it. Sitting there at home, fermenting. You're making life, baby. these like quarters, and I still have like half a, well, it would be a quarter of a cup. So does that make sense? Kimchi, of course, is a Korean dish, a Korean everything. Apparently, it's on the table every time you eat. And to be honest, it's kind of the same with me. It's good for your gut, you know, your gut health. Here on the Rural Vegetarian, we like to say that you don't control your life, your gut does. Those microorganisms? Biomes? What are biomes? You gotta keep that gut in shape, baby. I've had a cabbage before when I was salting it, and it had like a baby in it. It had a baby cabbage in there. Or like maybe it was like a twin, and you know how sometimes that happens, but it was like a twin, and the other twin absorbed it, and that whole time it didn't realize it was actually two cabbages. So I'm nearing the end here, and I still have a lot of salt left. So if you're following along at home, use more salt than I am. But don't worry, I'll go back over and salt some more. We also have these little pieces down here. But those pieces, all the water that gets extracted will mix with the salt and will become a salty brine, very salty. So let's put all of the cabbages into this big bowl, okay? There's what we just did. Maybe just a little. Like I said, just use it all up. So we're making traditional kimchi today. There is an easier kimchi where you cut it all up to chunks and do it that way. It's a little faster, but I find this one is much better, much tastier, maybe a little more rural, whatever that means. Bring some over to the Sasquatch later. So after we're done here salting, then we'll go and cut up the other vegetables, like carrot, garlic, ginger. Since we are vegetarians here on Urban Vegetarian, we do not use fish salt or anchovies or shrimp. We use strictly vegetables. Being vegetarian and all. Okay, this is the last one. We got about this much salt left. Let's give it the old tossy toss. A few more random leaves that I just got loose. And just get it the old spinaroo. Alright, we'll give you a tossy toss here. And we're going to set this aside to the side, and every 30 minutes for 2 hours, which should be about how long it takes for doing the other cutting. We'll flip it for 30 minutes, and then we'll see at the bottom there'll be a lot of this water brine, and we can get all the cabbages very briny. Okay, well, we're going to go to break now, and we'll be back here on the rural vegetarian, not urban. Okay, see you soon.